In My Own Process by Bruce Lee. It is an amazing gift. If you haven't had a chance to look at something like this up close, now you will in this video. I will uncover some details around this book. Now, as I take it, there's about 350 copies of this design. They've made 1,600 copies. I could be wrong. If you know a lot about this collectible item, please comment down below. Let us know where you can get this. I'm not much of a collector, but I'm sure we can all work together to find these copies. But they've only made about 350 of this particular design, and the rest of them are like your other versions. And this style was really neat. I liked the way this looked. It had a nice unboxing. First of all, it comes with this little sleeve that protects the box. But to get to the point, I wanted to share the emblem, nice gold emblem, and Bruce Lee's signature. It gives you a nice little yellow outer rim, which looks beautiful. And in fact, if you wanted to just encase this somewhere around your house and take a look at it and just stare at it. But for me, I'm not much of a collector. I mean, I've acquired things over the years, so I usually just box things in shelves. It's like something like this. Like, look at this. This is a 25th anniversary of Enter the Dragon. Now, what am I doing with this? First of all, I don't want to part from it because it was a gift as well. But I put this in a bookshelf, and I've known about it for years. And inside it, I mean, there's a lot of things you could appreciate of what they put together, like CD soundtrack. Nobody really uses CDs, and a VHS tape. Do you still have a VHS at home? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're still using it. Do those things even work still? But you could appreciate these items because sometimes you come out with something rare like this. This is like an original film, and maybe they just made a duplication. I'm sure it's not the original, but a duplication of it. And then you could put this up somewhere. I don't have room in my home to put everything up, so I just put it back where I found it. Well, where I usually leave it, and I can appreciate it from there. If you know more about Enter the Dragon and its collectibles, let me know what, well, maybe what anniversary edition you have. I'm sure they have like every 5 years they come out with something new. This was a great item, and I really appreciated receiving this from a longtime student, Dan Lok, and a good friend of mine who acquired it for me. And it was interesting because the theme is In My Own Process. And I remember seeing an exclusive interview from Shannon regarding that, In My Own Process. And there she also spoke about the notes and how it helped her go through a hard time. She really reflects on these notes a lot. And it does to a lot of people, even for myself. I mean, I worked through some stages and some processes, but going through Bruce's notes, you can kind of see his evolution, his time and place that he's learned from different sources and how he flourished toward the end. Well, let's just say that he did make a full impact before he left. The thing around this item is that it really reflects the time you spent, well, someone like myself, learning, training, hearing of these stories, original Bruce Lee students that talked about Bruce Lee and his life. And then when you look at this, it really means a lot to you. Now, today's age, I mean, it's a little different. It will still make an impact to some people in a different way. For me, it has to do a lot with my relationship with my teachers and friends and people that I've studied with over the years. When you open up the box, you'll have 2 items. If we have time, we'll cover the other piece, but you can see this is the front cover of being the theme In My Own Process. You can see that it has an Enter the Dragon look, and it has a cloth binding on the back and the gold gilded protection cover for the pages for preservation. It's really neat. I mean, it's not real glass, but it's plexiglass. It gives you that full unique look. And I'm sure there's many different collectible items, limited edition copies of Bruce's work. But this has a theme of its own, which I can appreciate, or you can appreciate if you had a copy like this. And first thing I've noticed when I opened it was the unique vintage look, okay? The photos themselves inside, it gives it a nice rarity. Now I know there's a lot of photos on the internet. You can find them, sometimes they're pixelated or somebody has like a logo over it and it doesn't really give it justice. When you own something like this and you open it up, you can appreciate the pictures. And for me, I mean, when I usually have time, I'll go in and read something that's related to the art of Jeet Kune Do. When I go in and I can spend some time in the morning, you know, and I'm just reading the information, you can appreciate the way and the clarity of these notes that kind of connects to what you're trying to research. But one thing I wanted to point out is that it's a timeline of his life. So you could start from the early chapters of his life. You got 1940 to 1958, and you start from there. Just shows the rarity of these photos and some notes that you'll start to appreciate along the way. The times that he was starting to act as a young guy, and then the times that as he was going to Seattle. So just to give you kind of a brief look. This is what I mean when you're taking a look at these up close. You can appreciate its specific way they put this in here and the way the photographs look. It just looks good, right? And as you go through these photos, you get to read commentary by individuals regarding Bruce's life and his notes. I think that's what's really interesting to people is his writings, because you got to remember, like, back then there's not that much information regarding like training. I mean, there were books, and by taking a look back then, there were books, there was information, but you had to go out and study this. You had to get the books on it if you were interested. There was no social media back then. There were videos are popping up in front of you, but now when you take a look at this, it takes a lot of hard work. You have to dig into the things you wanted to do. There's a time that he was dancing, I guess was great at dancing, and then the stuff on Kung Fu back in the Seattle era shows how we were starting to bodybuild. Ed Parker, well, I'm sure a lot of you recognize Ed Parker. You martial artists out there, if you're new to all this, I'm sure if you type in Ed Parker, you'll know who he is. It was a demonstration with Jesse Glover, his first group. Doug Palmer at Chinatown School. And his collage of photographs and artwork that he put together. And if most of you know that I've conducted an interview with Doug, and it's out there today if you're interested in learning about his time with Bruce Lee. Really interesting things, and the books that he was collecting. See, this is interesting. All right, so if we move forward a little bit, you can see the letters to Linda. Some information on Cato. Now this was interesting. During this time, people were able to communicate with Bruce Lee, and Bruce would write back. So this was their social media at that time period, but you're talking about like weeks or months, depending on when the magazine was published again. So there was a trend on that time frame. I know the 67 is fuzzy to a lot of people. It's like, when did he coin the term? When was he working on it? Well, the way it kind of went is that he was evolving, yes, as an understanding, even before 67. It's just that the 67 kind of sticks to everybody because that's when he named what he called Jeet Kune Do, and everybody kind of focuses on 67. But it was through an evolutionary time. Obviously, the fight that he had in Oakland was what catapulted him into this area. When you read this, JKD focuses on a lot of freedom abilities. So many people take this the wrong way. Like, freedom doesn't mean just do what you want, but freedom kind of speaks to your way of adapting to the opponent. But there's key principles on how to adapt. It isn't you adapt by learning whatever you want, whatever you feel is necessary. That could be an aspect, that could be a way, but there are many different ways. We're just trying to hone in and synchronize how principles work to adapt. Workouts, he was trying his designs for what he wanted to do, and then if you have some information regarding some of these aspects of his life, pictures that he was doing with Inosanto, Junri. See, I don't know specifically, the reason why he went to the ocean and he took these photos. Maybe it was for a magazine spread, I don't know. If you know something about that, comment down below. Let me know what this is all about. It has Jerry, Daniel Lee, Bruce, Steve Golden, P. Jacobs, and Bob Bremer. This is one of the first groups in the Chinatown School, and they also studied in Bruce Lee's home. Here's Ted Wong and his time with Bruce Lee. Some photos. He's a private student of his. Principles in Action, James Lee. And from here on out, it starts to become his movie careers. And there's still notes, there's still some added notes throughout his time, okay? There's great information. And regarding the notes that he wrote in the Tao, right, that's been consolidated. There's a lot of things and aspects in Bruce Lee's life that will connect with somebody in a certain way. And how you choose to develop yourself if you're looking to learn this art is going to really reflect on the experiences that you had. So that's why this man connects with everybody out there. So that does it on this episode of Unveiling Bruce Lee's In My Own Process. Now, if you have any information regarding how to get one of these copies, feel free to send a comment down below. Maybe somebody's looking for something. And if you want me to cover something out there, for perhaps, the Tao, I'll be happy to create a video regarding the Tao. If you're interested in me covering something else, feel free to send a comment down below and I'll go ahead and take a look. But until then, stay safe, stay explosive, and be safe.